You'd think someone pulling in $200,000 a year is set for life. Big salary, nice car, maybe a fancy vacation or two. On the surface, they're living the dream. But here's the kicker, a high income doesn't automatically make you wealthy. In fact, plenty of high earners are broke, well, not broke, but living paycheck to paycheck with little to show for it. Let's break it down. Wealth isn't about how much you earn, it's about how much you keep and grow. Income is what comes in, your salary, bonuses, side hustles. Wealth, on the other hand, is your net worth, the total value of everything you own, savings, investments, property, etc., minus everything you owe, mortgage, car loans, credit card debt. A high income can help you build wealth, but only if you're intentional about it. Otherwise, you're just spinning your wheels. Here's where it gets tricky. Many high earners fall into what's called the high income trap. They make great money, but they spend it just as fast. Bigger house, luxury cars, private schools, designer clothes, it adds up. According to a 2023 survey by LendingClub, about 60% of Americans earning over $100,000 a year live paycheck to paycheck. That's not a typo. 6 out of 10 people making six figures are one missed paycheck away from financial stress. Why? Because their lifestyle expands to match, or even exceed, their income. Let's talk numbers. Say you're earning $150,000 a year. Sounds amazing, right? After federal and state taxes, you're probably taking home closer to $100,000, depending on where you live. Now factor in a $3,000 monthly mortgage, $1,200 car payments for 2 vehicles, $1,500 for private school tuition, $1,000 for dining out and entertainment, plus all the other stuff, utilities, insurance, subscriptions. Suddenly, your bank account's looking thin by the end of the month. You're not saving much, let alone investing. That's the high income trap in action. Now, compare that to someone earning $80,000 a year, solid, but not exactly balling. They live in a modest home with a $1,500 mortgage, drive a paid-off used car, and keep their monthly expenses to $4,000. After taxes, they've got enough left to max out a Roth IRA, $7,000 a year in 2025, and put $10,000 into a low-cost index fund. Over 20 years, assuming a 7% average annual return, that's $17,000 a year in savings could grow to over $700,000. Meanwhile, the high earner with the flashy lifestyle might have a bigger house but only $50,000 in savings. Who's wealthier? The $80,000 earner, by a long shot. This is where the distinction between income and wealth becomes crystal clear. Income is temporary, it's tied to your job, your health, your ability to work. Wealth is lasting, it's the money and assets you've built up that keep working for you, even if you stop working. The high earner might look rich, but if they're not saving and investing, they're just renting a wealthy lifestyle. Lose the job, and the house of cards collapses. So, what's the difference between the high earner who's broke and the modest earner who's building wealth? It comes down to 3 things: spending habits, savings rate, and investment discipline. First, spending habits. High earners often fall into lifestyle inflation. They upgrade their life every time they get a raise, bigger house, fancier car, more expensive vacations. It's not about need, it's about keeping up with the Joneses. Meanwhile, the wealth builders stick to a budget. They don't care if their neighbor just got a Tesla. They're focused on what they need, not what they can afford to show off. Second, savings rate. This is the percentage of your income you're putting away for the future. A high earner making $200,000 but saving only $5,000 a year has a savings rate of 2.5%. A $60,000 earner saving $12,000 a year has a 20% savings rate. Guess who's going to have more wealth in a decade? The data backs this up. A 2024 Federal Reserve study showed that households with higher savings rates, regardless of income, had significantly higher net worth over time. Third, investment discipline. Saving is great, but wealth grows when you invest. The $60,000 earner putting $12,000 a year into a diversified portfolio of stocks and bonds is letting compound interest do the heavy lifting. Over 30 years, that could turn into $1.2 million at a 7% return. The high earner who spends most of their income and only tosses $5,000 into savings? They're looking at $150,000 in the same time frame. Investments like index funds, ETFs, or even real estate, if done smartly, can turn modest savings into serious wealth. But you've got to start early and stay consistent. Here's a real-world example. Take a doctor earning $300,000 a year. They've got a $1 million home, $100,000 in student loan debt, and $50,000 in a retirement account. Their net worth is $950,000, impressive on paper. But they're spending $20,000 a month on mortgage, cars, private school, and vacations. They've got no liquid savings to fall back on. Now take a teacher earning $70,000. They rent a $1,500 apartment, have no debt, and invest $15,000 a year. After 15 years, they've got $400,000 in investments. The doctor might look richer, but the teacher's got more financial freedom. The uncomfortable truth is that income doesn't equal wealth. It's just a tool. If you're burning through your paycheck, no matter how big it is, you're not building anything lasting. True wealth comes from living below your means, saving aggressively, and investing consistently. That's what lets you weather job loss, medical emergencies, or market downturns without blinking. An even better way to think about wealth is passive income. How much money are your investments generating without you lifting a finger? If you've got $500,000 in a portfolio earning 4% annually, that's $20,000 a year in passive income. That's money you can live on without touching the principal. Compare that to a high earner with a $2 million net worth, mostly in their home. They've got no passive income, just a big mortgage and property taxes eating into their paycheck. Who's in a better spot? The FIRE, financial independence, retire early, community gets this. They don't care about flashing a big salary or a fancy house. They're obsessed with their fine number, the amount of money they need to generate enough passive income to cover their expenses forever. For most, that's 25 times their annual spending, invested at a 4% withdrawal rate. If you spend $40,000 a year, you need $1 million invested. That's why FIRE folks prioritize cutting expenses and boosting investments over chasing a bigger paycheck. Here's the takeaway: a high income is awesome, but it's not a golden ticket. It's what you do with it that matters. The guy making $50,000 who saves and invests 20% of his income is going to outpace the $200,000 earner who spends it all. Wealth isn't about how much you make, it's about how much you keep, grow, and make work for you. So next time you see someone driving a BMW or living in a McMansion, don't assume they're wealthy. They might just be high earners stuck in the trap, working hard to pay for a lifestyle that's keeping them from real financial freedom. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more money tips. See you next time.